Hello, thank you. I mean, obviously, it's like, hello, how are you, and the usual niceties. I also should add, I'm not a Nazi. Like, that's a new thing that you just add to be polite. That's the new minimum definition of interhuman communication. You want to start, I'm not a Nazi. You have to know that.
It would go a little something.
Like and then you say, oh, Dan, you're pandering, you're virtue signaling, right? Isn't that what you call it? You fucks?
Yeah.
You say you're not a Nazi, and then you get a big bell and a cookie, because that's so easy to say you're not a Nazi. Well, no, it's not that easy to say, is it? It's not easy to say you're not a Nazi. The president has a difficult time. And he has no repercussions to fear, really, except for some Nazis not voting for him. And he has traded that today. He has officially decreed, to the extent that a compulsively dishonest parasite can decree anything, he has decreed that he is a Nazi because there are people goose-stepping down a main street in the heart of America, wherever the fuck that place is, and it would have been so easy to trade a couple of Nazi votes for what he might have hoped would be a couple of non-Nazi votes. Perhaps the easiest votes to get of all. Simple non-Nazi votes. Low-hanging democratic fruit, it's been called. I promise to not be a Nazi. You're hired these days. He couldn't do it. He couldn't bring himself to do it. And that is as close as you're going to get with a coward to his saying, I'm a Nazi,
Dan,
which is what he said.
He just wants to be loved.
Yeah.
By Nazis.
And just wanting to be loved is important and human. We all just want to be loved. And the big question is, when you are not loved and a Nazi is across the street going, yoo-hoo, do you go back to being not loved or walk across the street? That is what this civil war, and I promise you that's what's brewing, is going to be all about. And it's fucking over. The discourse is over. We have sat, we have talked, we have argued, we have pondered. The discourse is over. These people that tweet you when you retweet somebody, when you just say a simple fact that should not cause you to get a knot in your stomach, like, I'm not a Nazi? The people that tweet you and say, nor am I, but just out of curiosity. Just tell them to go fuck themselves. The discourse is over. The war has begun. You're not talking to Nazis anymore. You're not talking to people that want to entertain the notion of being a Nazi anymore. You don't want to talk to people that want to circumscribe the concept of Nazism within a fucking Socratic dialectic about goddamn whether Nazi. They're fucking Nazis. It's the bedrock of humanity. It is so low that the worst people in the world find it. And that's where they rally. And it's so low, we have gotten so bad that a third of our country has gotten there. 29% of the people are fucking Nazis. Let's face it, that's a minority. We can beat them. We have to say, I'm not a Nazi, though. 2/3 of the country just don't want to be political. It's not politics to say you're not a Nazi. It's like taking a shit. You just do it, or you explode. You die if you don't shit, and you die if you don't say you're not a Nazi. Fascism is a fucking cancer. It will eat your country unless your country kills it. Here's what happens when you get cancer. Nothing good. Nothing. There is no way out of it. I'm your country's doctor. You've got cancer. You have fascism. You are going to suffer. You are going to fight. You are going to feel pain. You are not getting out of this. We have fascism. It is happening. We're fucking dead, maybe. Or maybe they're dead. That's about it. It's not a continuum. There's no gray area. It's not a fad. Fascism doesn't pop up and then recede when it finds out no one's into it. It doesn't respond to love. It doesn't respond to hate. It doesn't respond to ignoring it. It doesn't respond to timeouts. It doesn't respond to attention. It doesn't respond to lack of attention. You stab it. You cut it out. You bombard it with poison. Or you die. And in any case, you will probably die. Don't die talking to cancer. Don't die hanging out with it. Don't die arguing with it on Twitter. It's fucking fascism. Enough. Team up. Stop bitching about Bernie Sanders. I don't care what flavor you want your democracy to be. It's democracy versus motherfucking fascism. You can be as Bernie as you want. You gotta do it later, man. You gotta do it fucking later. You gotta do it later.
You got to oppose fascism.
All right, so I have fingernail questions. Because I went on a week-long trip and I was
That
like...
was a fucking hairpin turn, man.